In a big city filled with noise and bright lights, there were two children who were almost invisible to most people. Malik and Amina were twins, born on the same cold winter night. Their small faces were alike, but their lives had been very different from most children their age. They were abandoned when they were very young. No one knew where their parents were or if they were ever coming back. Malik, who was just a few minutes older than Amina, felt a strong responsibility to protect his little sister. He held her hand tightly as they walked through the busy streets. The world around them was loud and fast, but the twins moved slowly, tired and hungry. Their clothes were old and torn, and their shoes had holes in them. Despite all this, they stayed close to each other, knowing they had no one else. Every day was a struggle for Malik and Amina. They did not have a home where they could sleep safely. Most nights, they found small corners in empty buildings or under bridges, curling up close so the cold wind could not reach them. Sometimes, people gave them leftover food or coins, but that was rare. More often, the twins were left to hope and wait for kindness from strangers. On this particular day, the sky was gray and heavy with clouds. The air was cold, and the wind blew sharply, making the twins pull their thin jackets closer around their bodies. Malik looked at Amina's tired eyes and tried to smile, but inside, he was worried. They had not eaten properly for 2 days, and their energy was running low. "Come on, Amina," Malik said softly. "Let's try near the big building today. Maybe someone will help us." Amina nodded, trusting her brother's judgment. They slowly made their way through the crowded streets, dodging people who did not notice them at all. The big building was different from the other places they had been. It was tall, made of shiny glass that reflected the sky and the city below. It looked like a palace to the twins, who had only seen broken windows and cracked walls. Malik and Amina stood quietly by the entrance. People walked past in their clean suits and shiny shoes. The twins watched their faces. Some were busy, some looked tired, and others were talking happily on their phones. No one stopped to look at the two small figures waiting near the door. Malik took a deep breath and tried to speak to a man passing by. "Sir, please, can you give us some leftover food? We haven't eaten for days." The man looked down at them, his face hard and uninterested. Without a word, he turned away and walked quickly. Amina's eyes filled with tears, but Malik wiped them away gently. "It's okay," he said. "We will keep trying." Just then, a tall man in a sharp suit appeared. His hair was gray, and his eyes looked sharp but kind. He stopped and looked down at Malik and Amina. "Why are you here?" he asked in a calm voice. Malik straightened up, trying to look brave. "We are hungry, sir. We don't have a place to live or anyone to care for us. We came here because we thought maybe someone kind would help." The man studied their faces for a moment. He seemed surprised, but not angry or scared. Instead, he smiled a little. "My name is Mr. Harris," he said. "Come with me. Let's talk." Malik looked at Amina, who nodded quietly. They followed Mr. Harris into the building. The inside was warm and clean. It smelled like fresh coffee and paper. The twins had never been in a place like this before. Their eyes grew wide as they saw the bright lights and the tall windows that showed the city from above. Mr. Harris led them to a big room with comfortable chairs and a small table. "Sit down," he said kindly. "Tell me your story." Malik and Amina sat close together. Malik took a deep breath and began. "We don't remember much about our parents," he said. "We were left at an orphanage when we were babies, but it closed down last year. Since then, we have been alone. We try to find food and shelter every day. Sometimes, people are kind, but mostly, they ignore us. Amina looked at the floor, but Malik kept talking. We want to go to school. We want to learn and have a better life. But right now, it's hard to even think about that. Mr. Harris listened carefully. His eyes softened. He reached out and gently touched Amina's shoulder. You are very brave to come here and speak like this, he said. I know it is not easy. Malik looked up, surprised. No one had ever told him he was brave before. I want to help you, Mr. Harris continued. But I need you to trust me. Malik and Amina nodded slowly. For the first time in a long time, they felt hope. Mr. Harris stood up and said, Tomorrow, I will bring you some food and warm clothes. You should rest here tonight if you want. No one will hurt you. The twins looked at each other in surprise. A warm place to sleep, food to eat, it all sounded like a dream. Thank you, sir, Malik said quietly. We will trust you. As the night fell outside the tall building, Malik and Amina sat by the big windows, watching the city lights flicker. For the first time in many months, they felt safe. They did not know what the future held, but together, they believed things could change. And so, in the middle of a city that never stopped moving, two forgotten children found a moment of peace. The road ahead was still long and uncertain, but for now, the abandoned black twins dared to hope. The next morning, Malik and Amina woke up to a soft knock on the door. Their hearts were beating fast. It was the first time in many months that they had a safe place to sleep. The room was small but warm. Soft sunlight came through the window, lighting up the clean white sheets on the bed. Malik looked at Amina, and she gave him a shy smile. They were together, and for now, that was enough. The door opened, and Mr. Harris stepped inside. In his hands, he carried a small bag filled with food and a bundle of clothes. Good morning, he said gently. I brought you something to eat. You must be very hungry. Malik took the bag carefully and opened it. Inside, there were sandwiches, fruits, and some warm soup in a container. Amina's eyes grew wide with surprise. She had not eaten such food in a long time. Thank you, Malik said, voice soft but steady. We are very grateful. Mr. Harris smiled. You don't have to thank me. It's the least I can do. But I want to help more than just giving food. The twins listened closely as Mr. Harris continued, I want you both to come here every day. I will arrange for you to learn and grow. You deserve a chance to live a better life. Malik looked at Amina. Her eyes filled with hope. But after a moment, Malik's expression became serious. Sir, he said carefully, we are thankful for your kindness. But the truth is, we have nowhere to live except this place. We don't have money for anything. Mr. Harris nodded. I understand. And I promise you, that will not be a problem. I will make sure you have a place to stay, clothes to wear, and food to eat. But I need you to be honest with me. Malik and Amina nodded. Days passed, and the twins started to visit Mr. Harris's building every morning. He introduced them to a kind woman named Sarah, who became their tutor. Sarah was patient and warm. She helped Malik and Amina learn to read and write. For the first time, the twins felt the joy of learning something new. Yet, the world outside was still harsh. People on the streets did not always smile. Some ignored the twins. Others whispered as they passed. Malik felt the weight of those looks but tried not to show it. He wanted Amina to feel safe. One afternoon, after their lessons, Malik and Amina walked to a nearby park. They sat under a big tree, sharing a small sandwich from their lunchbox. Malik looked around at the busy people. Most of them seemed busy with their own lives, unaware of the twins' struggles. "I wish," Malik said softly, "that we could have a home where we belong. Not just a room to stay but a family, a place to call ours." Amina nodded. "Maybe someday, Malik. Maybe someday." The next day, Malik had a plan. He took Amina's hand and led her back to the grand building. This time, he was determined to ask for help again. They waited near the entrance, hoping someone kind would listen. A man in a suit passed by. Malik's voice was low but clear. "Sir, please, can you spare some leftovers? We have not eaten well for days." The man stopped but looked away quickly. "Go away," he said sharply, walking off. Amina's eyes filled with tears. Malik felt a wave of sadness but refused to give up. Just then, Mr. Harris appeared. His face was calm but serious. "Why are you here again?" he asked. Malik looked at Mr. Harris. "We are hungry, sir. We do not want to ask for leftovers, but we do not have any other way." Mr. Harris studied their faces for a moment. Then, with a small smile, he said, "Come with me." He took them inside the building and led them to the large dining room. There, a table was set with fresh food, warm bread, soup, fruits, and a small cake. "This is for you," Mr. Harris said. "You should never have to ask for leftovers again. You deserve real meals." Malik and Amina sat down carefully, amazed. The food smelled good, and the warmth filled their bodies. They ate slowly, savoring each bite. After the meal, Mr. Harris sat with them. "I know it has been hard for you. But you are not alone anymore. I want to help you build a future." Malik looked up, hope shining in his eyes. "Thank you, sir. We will work hard and not waste this chance." Mr. Harris nodded. "I believe in you." In the weeks that followed, Malik and Amina's lives began to change slowly. Mr. Harris made sure they had everything they needed: new clothes, school supplies, and a safe place to stay in a small apartment near his building. Sarah, their tutor, helped them catch up on their studies. The twins laughed more often and dreamed bigger dreams. Still, they knew the road ahead would not be easy. But for the first time, they felt they were part of something. One evening, Malik and Amina sat by the window, looking out at the city lights. The stars above seemed to shine just for them. Amina smiled. "Malik, maybe this is the start of something new." Malik squeezed her hand. "Yes, Amina. Together, we can face anything." And so, two abandoned black twins, once forgotten and hungry, found a new path, one filled with hope, kindness, and the promise of a better tomorrow. Malik and Amina's new life was beginning to take shape. Every morning, the sunlight spilled into their small but cozy apartment, warming the room and waking the twins from their dreams. They no longer feared the cold nights or the empty stomachs. But despite the comforts, there was still something new and strange about this life, a life that was full of possibilities, yet uncertain. Every day, they would visit the tall glass building owned by Mr. Harris. It was like a world apart from the streets they once roamed. Inside, everything was clean and quiet, and the air smelled like fresh coffee and polished wood. Here, they met Sarah, their tutor, who patiently helped them with reading, writing, and numbers. Sarah was kind and cheerful. She understood the twins' pain and loss but never treated them as broken or weak. Instead, she believed in their strength. "You both have a bright future," she said one day, smiling as Malik and Amina practiced reading aloud. "You just need to believe it too." Malik looked at his sister and saw her smile. It was the first real smile in a long time. Yet, no matter how much things improved, Malik felt a question inside him growing stronger each day. Who was Mr. Harris really? Why had he taken the time to help two forgotten children like them? One afternoon, as the twins finished their lessons, Mr. Harris appeared in the hallway. He was different than the stories Malik had heard about billionaires, not cold or distant, but calm and thoughtful. "Would you like to see where I work?" Mr. Harris asked quietly. Malik and Amina exchanged a glance. They had never been inside the offices of such a building. Curiosity won over fear, and they nodded. Mr. Harris led them through long corridors filled with paintings and elegant furniture. The walls told stories of success, power, and hard work. But as they walked, Malik noticed something else: the way Mr. Harris treated the people around him. He was polite, but also kind. He stopped to say hello to the cleaners and the security guards. Everyone seemed to respect him. Finally, they reached a large office with windows that stretched from floor to ceiling. The room was bright and quiet. Mr. Harris sat behind a big wooden desk and gestured for the twins to sit on the soft chairs in front of him. "This is where I make decisions," he said with a small smile. "But today, I want to listen." Malik took a deep breath. "We want to say thank you," he said, "for everything you have done." Mr. Harris nodded, his eyes thoughtful. "I'm glad you are safe now. But I want to know more about you, your hopes, your dreams." Amina's voice was soft but steady. "We want to go to school, learn new things, and one day, help others like us." Mr. Harris smiled warmly. "That is a wonderful dream. You have already shown courage by surviving and staying together. Now, you can grow and build a future." The twins felt a weight lift from their hearts. For the first time, someone truly saw them not as poor children asking for help, but as young people full of hope. Before they left the office, Mr. Harris handed them each a small notebook. "Use these to write down your dreams and plans," he said. "Keep them safe." Malik clutched his notebook tightly. He already had many dreams, but now they felt real. Outside the building, the sun was setting, casting a golden glow over the city. Malik and Amina walked home quietly, the notebook safe in their hands. That night, in their apartment, the twins sat together at the small wooden table. Malik opened his notebook and began to write, "I want to learn to read and write well. I want to go to school every day. I want to be strong for Amina and keep her safe." Amina looked at her notebook and smiled. She wrote, "I want to be a teacher one day. I want to help children who have no one. I want to make the world kinder." They shared their dreams with each other, and their hearts felt lighter. The next morning, Malik woke up early. He wanted to share something with Mr. Harris, a question that had been on his mind since their meeting. When they arrived at the building, Mr. Harris was waiting for them in the lobby. "Good morning, Malik." "Good morning, Amina," he said kindly. Malik took a deep breath and asked, "Sir, may I ask, why did you help us? You don't know us, and you have so much. Why did you care?" Mr. Harris looked at them thoughtfully. "That is a good question," he said softly. "When I was a young boy, I lost someone very important. I know what it feels like to be alone and forgotten. I wanted to make sure you never feel that way. Malik and Amina listened carefully. They did not know what to say at first. Then, Amina whispered, "Thank you." Mr. Harris smiled. "You are welcome. Helping you is not a gift I am giving, it is a chance for me to do what is right." The twins felt a new kind of hope growing inside them. They realized that sometimes, even the strongest people carry their own pain. But by helping others, they can heal too. As days turned into weeks, Malik and Amina continued to learn and grow. They helped Sarah organize their books and shared stories about their past. Each day brought new lessons, new smiles, and new dreams. One afternoon, as they were leaving the building, Malik stopped and looked up at the sky. "Maybe, just maybe," he said quietly to Amina, "our story is not about being forgotten anymore. It is about being found." Amina nodded, her eyes shining with hope. "Yes, Malik. We will write a new story. One full of love and light." Together, the twins walked home, ready to face whatever the future held, knowing that they were not alone. The days grew warmer as spring slowly arrived in the city. Malik and Amina woke up each morning feeling a little stronger and a little braver. Their lives were changing, but inside, the memories of their past still lingered quietly, like shadows waiting to be faced. One afternoon, after their lessons with Sarah, Malik and Amina sat together in the cozy living room of their small apartment. The sun shone through the window, making the room bright and warm. Malik held his notebook tightly on his lap, while Amina looked down at the floor, her fingers playing nervously with the edge of her sleeve. "I want to tell Mr. Harris our story," Malik said quietly. "I think he should know everything, how we ended up alone, and what we have been through." Amina hesitated. "Are you sure, Malik? Sometimes, people don't want to hear sad stories." Malik nodded. "I know. But Mr. Harris is kind. He listens to us. Maybe sharing our story will help him understand us better." That evening, they decided to visit Mr. Harris's office again. They felt nervous but hopeful. When they arrived, Mr. Harris welcomed them warmly. "Good evening, Malik, Amina," he said. "What brings you here today?" Malik took a deep breath. "We want to tell you about our past. So you know who we really are." Mr. Harris nodded and invited them to sit. The large windows showed the city lights flickering below, but inside the room, there was a quiet stillness. Malik started. "When we were babies, we were left at an orphanage. It was a cold place, not many smiles there. We waited and waited for someone to come for us, but no one ever did." Amina looked up and added softly, "We didn't have much, just each other. Sometimes, the other children were mean. They didn't want us there." Malik continued. "One day, the orphanage closed. We didn't know where to go. We wandered the streets, looking for food and shelter. It was scary. We were scared." Mr. Harris listened without interrupting, his eyes filled with sadness. Amina's voice trembled a little as she spoke. "At night, we slept under bridges or in empty buildings. We stayed close so the cold wouldn't touch us. Sometimes, we cried because we missed having a family." Malik reached out and held his sister's hand tightly. "But we never gave up. We promised to protect each other, no matter what." Mr. Harris wiped his eyes quietly. "Thank you for trusting me with your story. You are stronger than most people I know." Amina smiled for the first time that evening. "Thank you for listening." Mr. Harris leaned forward. "You two have been through so much pain. But you also have something very special: love for each other and courage to keep going. That will carry you far. Malik nodded slowly. We want to learn and grow. We want to help others who are lost like we were. Mr. Harris's eyes shone with pride. And you will. I will help you every step of the way. After their talk, Malik and Amina left the office feeling lighter, as if sharing their story had lifted a heavy weight from their hearts. They knew the road ahead would still have challenges, but now they had someone who believed in them deeply. The next day, Sarah noticed something different in the twins. They smiled more, laughed more, and seemed ready to face the world with new hope. You both are amazing, Sarah said during their lesson. Your courage is inspiring. Malik looked at Amina and whispered, we are not alone anymore. Amina smiled back. We have each other, and we have people who care. As the weeks passed, Mr. Harris kept his promise. He helped the twins get school uniforms and supplies. He arranged for doctors to check their health. Slowly, Malik and Amina's faces grew brighter and stronger. One sunny afternoon, Malik found an old photo hidden inside one of the drawers in their apartment. It was a picture of a smiling family: a mother, a father, and two small children. Malik showed it to Amina. Do you think this could be us? Amina looked closely. Maybe, she said softly. Maybe one day, we will find out. The twins held onto the photo, a symbol of the family they dreamed of having someday. One evening, as the city lights twinkled outside their window, Malik looked out and whispered, our past was full of darkness. But now, we have light. Amina nodded, hugging her brother. Together, we can face anything. And so, beneath the stars and city glow, Malik and Amina's hearts grew stronger. Their scars were still there, but they no longer defined them. Instead, they became marks of courage, hope, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. The days passed, and with every sunrise, Malik and Amina felt more like children who belonged somewhere. Their small apartment, once strange and new, had begun to feel like home. Mr. Harris's kindness and Sarah's patient teaching gave them strength. But inside, Malik dreamed of doing something more, something that would show the world who they really were. One morning, after breakfast, Malik told Amina about an idea he had. Amina, he said, eyes shining with excitement, there is a school contest happening next week. It is a story competition. I want to enter. I want to tell our story about where we came from, and how we are changing. Amina looked surprised but smiled. That is a brave idea, Malik. But what if people don't want to hear? Malik shook his head. I think people need to hear it. Maybe our story can help others who feel lost. Amina nodded. Then I will help you. Together, they began to prepare. Every day after their lessons, Malik and Amina would sit at the little table, writing and rewriting their story. Sarah helped them find the right words, encouraging them to be honest and hopeful. Their story was simple but powerful. It spoke of loneliness, of cold nights and hunger, but also of love, courage, and the kindness of strangers who changed their lives. As they practiced reading it aloud, their voices grew stronger, filled with hope. Mr. Harris noticed their hard work. One afternoon, he came to their apartment with a gift. I heard about the contest, he said kindly. I want you to know I am proud of you. Whatever happens, you have already won something more important: the courage to share your truth. Malik smiled, feeling proud and nervous. Amina hugged Mr. Harris's hand, grateful for the support. The day of the contest arrived quickly. Malik and Amina stood together in a crowded hall filled with students, teachers, and families. The bright lights made Malik's heart beat faster, but he held Amina's hand tightly. When it was their turn, Malik stepped forward first. He looked at the faces in the audience, some curious, some kind. He took a deep breath and began to speak. "Our names are Malik and Amina," he said clearly. "We are twins. We didn't have a family for a long time. We were hungry and scared. But we never gave up." Amina's voice joined his, soft and steady. "One day, a kind man helped us. He gave us hope. Now, we are learning and dreaming." Together, they told their story, the pain and the hope, the darkness and the light. As they spoke, tears came to their eyes, but they did not stop. When they finished, the room was silent for a moment. Then, slowly, the audience began to clap. The applause grew louder and warmer. Malik and Amina looked at each other, surprised and happy. After the contest, many people came to talk to them. Teachers praised their bravery. Other children said they felt inspired. Malik and Amina realized their story was touching hearts. Mr. Harris was waiting outside the hall. He smiled broadly and hugged them. "You have made me very proud today," he said. "You showed the world your strength." That night, as Malik and Amina walked home, they talked about their future. "Maybe we can help other children," Amina said softly. "Like Mr. Harris helped us." Malik nodded. "Yes. We can be the light for those still in the dark." Days turned into weeks, and Malik and Amina's confidence grew. They went to school every day, learning new things and making friends. They discovered talents they never knew they had. Malik loved drawing, and Amina enjoyed writing poems. One afternoon, Sarah brought news. "There is a community event next month," she said. "They want children to share stories and talents. Would you like to participate?" Malik and Amina looked at each other, excitement shining in their eyes. "Yes," they said together. They began to prepare again, practicing their story and Malik drawing pictures to show. They wanted to give back to the community that had helped them. When the event day arrived, the twins stood on the stage in front of a large crowd. Malik showed his drawings, and Amina read her poems. They spoke about hope, kindness, and the power of never giving up. People clapped and cheered. Malik and Amina felt a deep joy inside. They were no longer just two children who had been abandoned. They were voices of hope, shining brightly. After the event, Mr. Harris surprised them with a small celebration. "You have grown so much," he said warmly. "And you have touched many hearts. Remember, your story is not only about the past, it is about the future you will build." That night, Malik and Amina sat by the window, watching the city lights flicker. "Malik," Amina said softly, "do you think we will ever find our family?" Malik smiled gently. "Maybe someday. But no matter what, we have each other. And that is the most important family." Amina nodded and hugged her brother tightly. The twins knew their journey was still just beginning. There would be challenges ahead, but now, with hope in their hearts and kindness around them, they believed anything was possible. Together, Malik and Amina were ready to face the world not as forgotten children, but as bright lights in a city full of stories waiting to be told. Spring slowly turned into summer, and the city was alive with colors and sounds. Malik and Amina's world was changing every day. Their days were filled with school, learning, and laughter. Yet, deep inside, Malik felt a new challenge approaching, one that would test their courage in a different way. One hot afternoon, Malik returned home from school, his face serious. Amina noticed immediately. "What is wrong, Malik?" she asked, setting down her book. Malik sighed. "Today, I heard some students talking. They said things about us that we don't belong here, that we are different." Amina's eyes grew wide. "But we do belong. We are part of the school and the city." Malik nodded. "I know. But sometimes, people judge what they don't understand. It hurts." Amina reached for his hand. "We can't let their words stop us. We have come too far." Malik smiled faintly. "You're right." The next day at school, Malik and Amina faced their classmates with quiet strength. Some stared, others whispered, but the twins kept walking tall. After class, Malik and Amina talked to Sarah about what was happening. "People can be unkind," Sarah said softly, "especially when they see something different. But your story and your kindness will change minds." Malik looked thoughtful. "Maybe we should show them who we really are." Sarah smiled. "That is a brave idea." That evening, Malik and Amina sat together, planning. They wanted to invite their classmates to their apartment to share a meal and stories. They hoped this would bring everyone closer. When the day came, they prepared the small apartment carefully. Amina baked a simple cake, and Malik helped set the table with food Mr. Harris had given them. One by one, their classmates arrived. Some looked curious, others unsure. But Malik and Amina welcomed everyone with warm smiles. As they ate, the twins shared their story again, not as a sad tale, but as a journey of hope and courage. They talked about their dreams to learn, to help others, and to be part of the community. Their classmates listened quietly. Slowly, the atmosphere changed. Smiles appeared, and questions were asked. One boy said, "I didn't know you went through so much. I'm sorry if I was unkind." A girl added, "You are very brave. I want to be your friend." Malik and Amina felt their hearts lift. The walls between them were coming down. From that day on, things began to change at school. The whispers stopped, and many classmates joined Malik and Amina during breaks and lunches. The twins found new friends, and with each friendship, their confidence grew. Meanwhile, Mr. Harris continued to support them. One afternoon, he invited Malik and Amina to a special event at his company. "This is an opportunity," he said. "You will meet many people who want to help children like you. You never know where a new friendship might lead." At the event, Malik and Amina met kind people, teachers, volunteers, and even some children's authors. They listened to stories of hope and dreams, just like theirs. Amina spoke to one woman who said, "Your story needs to be heard by many. Have you thought about writing a book?" Malik and Amina exchanged excited looks. The idea seemed big but wonderful. As summer days passed, the twins worked with Sarah to write down their story more carefully. They included drawings and poems, hoping to inspire others who felt lost or alone. One evening, while Malik and Amina worked on their story, Mr. Harris called them. "I have news," he said with a smile. "A publisher is interested in your story. They want to help you share it with the world." Malik and Amina could hardly believe it. Their small story, born from pain and hope, was about to reach many people. "That is amazing," Amina said, hugging Mr. Harris. Mr. Harris nodded. "Remember, your story is powerful. It can change lives." As they prepared for this new adventure, Malik and Amina also knew that challenges would come. Not everyone might understand their journey, and not all days would be easy. But together, they were ready. One night, Malik looked out of their apartment window at the stars and whispered, "Amina, we have come so far. From the streets to this moment." Amina smiled softly. "And we will keep moving forward. Together." Malik nodded. "No matter what comes, we have hope, love, and each other." The twins held hands, feeling strong and ready for the future, a future where their story could shine and bring light to others. The day Malik and Amina's story was to be shared with the world finally arrived. The small apartment where they had once lived in fear was now filled with hope and excitement. Their story, written with courage and love, was going to be published in a book that many people would read. Mr. Harris had arranged a small event to celebrate the launch. Friends, teachers, neighbors, and even some of the classmates who had once been unsure about Malik and Amina gathered to support them. The twins stood side by side, their hearts beating fast but full of pride. Sarah smiled at them from the front row. "You have done something incredible," she whispered. Malik looked at Amina and said quietly, "We did it together." When the event began, Malik and Amina took turns reading from their book. Their voices were strong and clear as they shared their journey from lonely nights on the street to the warm arms of kindness and hope. People listened, some with tears in their eyes. After the reading, many came forward to thank the twins for their bravery and honesty. One woman said, "Your story has touched my heart. You have shown what real courage looks like." Another man smiled and said, "You remind us all that kindness can change lives." Mr. Harris stood beside Malik and Amina and said, "These two children are proof that with love and support, anyone can rise from the darkest places." After the event, Malik and Amina returned home, their hearts full. For the first time, they truly felt like their past was behind them, and a bright future lay ahead. That night, they sat by the window, looking at the stars. "Amina," Malik said softly, "do you remember when we were alone and scared?" Amina nodded. "Yes. But now, everything feels different." Malik smiled. "Because we found hope. And we found each other." Amina reached out and held her brother's hand. "And we found people who care." Their journey was far from over, but they knew one thing clearly: they would face whatever came next together. The following weeks were busy and joyful. Malik and Amina visited schools and community centers to share their story and encourage other children who felt lost or alone. They learned that many children had difficult stories, but with support and kindness, they could heal and grow. One day, Malik received a letter from a child who had read their book. "Dear Malik and Amina," the letter said, "thank you for sharing your story. You have given me hope to keep going. I want to be brave like you." Malik showed the letter to Amina, and they both smiled. "Our story is helping others," Amina said quietly. Mr. Harris continued to support the twins, helping them with school and their dreams. He taught them about business and how to use their voices to make a difference. Slowly, Malik and Amina's lives became filled with purpose. Malik's drawings began to be used in schools and hospitals to inspire children. Amina's poems were shared in magazines and online. But the most important thing they learned was the power of love and family, not only the family they had lost but the one they had chosen and built around themselves. One warm summer evening, Mr. Harris invited Malik and Amina to his home for dinner. As they sat around the table, Mr. Harris said, "I am proud of both of you. You have taught me much about courage and kindness. You are my family now." Malik and Amina looked at each other, their hearts full. "We are grateful," Malik said. "You showed us what it means to care." Amina smiled. "We have a new family full of love and hope." Years passed, and Malik and Amina grew into confident young adults. They never forgot where they came from, but they also knew they were not defined by their past. Instead, they were defined by their strength, their kindness, and their dreams. Malik opened an art center for children, where young artists could learn and express themselves. Amina became a teacher and writer, helping children find their voices through stories and poems. Together, they gave back to the community that had once helped them survive. One afternoon, Malik and Amina visited the old orphanage where their journey had once begun. The building was now clean and filled with laughter and hope. They smiled as they walked through the halls, knowing that their story had come full circle. As the sun set, casting a golden light on the city, Malik and Amina sat on a bench outside the orphanage. Malik looked at Amina and said, "We were once lost, but now we are found." Amina nodded. "And we will help others find their way." Hand in hand, the twins looked forward to a future filled with love, light, and endless possibilities. Their story, once one of pain and loneliness, had become a story of hope, courage, and the power of kindness. And that story would live on, inspiring others for years to come.